Hello everyone and welcome back to Destiny. I just got back from an incredibly busy week at E3. Of course, I was there representing Future Foe, but I was also mainly there representing my other channel, Nerd On. I definitely recommend you checking it out if you haven't already. I'll leave the links down below. But essentially, I came away very happy. I got multiple sessions with Destiny 2 Forsaken's new mode, Gambit, and I got my hands on the new weapon system. Now, interestingly, during the show, we also got a lot of news in reference to the weapon system, mostly because that was the system in play during E3. Now, of course, we couldn't inspect the weapons, we had very little detail, and I'm sure they turned off a couple of the little indicators on screen, but we got a pretty good idea of how the weapon system works, and we're starting to get a lot of very specific details. And in this video, I'm going to break down how the new weapon slots are going to work exactly, and how it works with ammo economy. Let's get into it. Alright, so as usual, I find it best to look at some kind of visual aid, so I've worked up a couple of visual graphics. So first up, we have the terms primary, special, and heavy officially making a return back to Destiny 2. Now, very specifically, we also still have kinetic energy and power, but we'll get more on that in just a minute. So let's start with primary, special, and heavy. This is simply referencing ammo. So white bricks is primary, special bricks are green, and heavy bricks are purple. Now, the ammo no longer has any association to whether or not a weapon is kinetic or energy. All it means is what kind of weapon it goes into. So here for primary, we have pulse rifles, hand cannons, scout rifles, SMGs, ARs, and now bows and arrows. Those are all primary ammo. That means no matter whether or not it's kinetic or energy, if you pick up a white brick off the ground, it is going to refill the ammo for this category of weapons. Next up, we have special. So that's going to be your sniper rifles, shotguns, and fusion rifles as you remember it from Destiny 1. So these weapons, whether or not they're in your kinetic slot or your energy slot, are going to take green bricks. Moving on to heavy, this is what's kind of largely unchanged, with of course the exception of bringing these special weapons back to the special slot. We have rocket launchers, swords, linear fusion rifles, and grenade launchers, and these weapons have to stay inside of the power slot. We'll go over that in just a minute, but essentially these are going to continue to pick up the purple bricks, and there's no way to mix and match it. Nothing is changing here. So let's move on to the second part of this, which is the actual weapon slots. We will continue to have kinetic, energy, and power. That means no matter what, one of your weapons will have to be kinetic. No matter what it is, it has to go into the kinetic slot. Bungie refers to the kinetic and energy slots now as quick slots. Of course, we have a lot more information still to get. All of this stuff is not officially confirmed, but we're getting very strong indications. And of course, this is what I experienced while playing the game during E3. And then of course, we have the power weapon slot, which is still at the very bottom and will largely take heavy weapons. Now, to the right are some examples of what you can load into those slots. So for the kinetic weapon, you can put the DBA, you can put the Hawthorne's Field Forge shotgun, or you can put the Silicon Naruma sniper rifle. Now, assuming these will have to be converted to a kinetic version of these weapons, my guess is that you'll have to put a kinetic mod into this weapon to then make it kinetic so that it fits into your kinetic slot. In the energy slot, we have a scout rifle, the Telesto, and a bow and arrow. These are all designated as energy weapons because we're assuming here that these weapons all have elemental mods applied to them to make them an energy weapon. Then on the bottom row, we have an example like a rocket launcher, a grenade launcher, a linear fusion rifle. Now, the only thing we don't have any kind of indication for right now are regular fusion rifles or sidearms. You'll have to let me know in the comments below if you know the answer to that. Sidearms could be kinetic or energy, we have that right now, but for fusion rifles, it's hard to say. It's hard to imagine a kinetic fusion rifle, so they might keep it as energy only, or they might keep it to power. It's hard to say right now. But moving on, essentially this could look like something along the lines of equipping the Hawthorne shotgun in your kinetic slot, equipping a scout rifle in your energy slot, meaning that now your kinetic slot requires green bricks and your energy slot requires white bricks. Conversely, you could have two shotguns like they said in the ViDoc. However, because both of those are special weapons, that means now both your kinetic and your energy slots are going to require green bricks to pick up. And this is of course how they're going to balance it. When you pick up a green brick, if you have multiple slots that require that kind of ammo, that brick will be split between the two slots. So if a green brick was going to grant you 8 shotgun shells if all you had was one special weapon, because you decided to run 2 shotguns, you then get 4 rounds per shotgun. And again, in today's This Week at Bungie, Josh Hamrick did make a point to mention that primary ammo will still be the most prevalent, so if you don't want to run dry on ammo, you're going to want to have some kind of primary weapon. Otherwise, the primary weapon ammo that falls on the ground will be completely useless to you. Now again, there's still a lot of questions we don't have answered, like how do I get a shotgun to be kinetic versus energy? Is that predetermined? Can I choose? We still don't know all of the answers. This is just a crude example just to kind of drive that point home, because I know there's been a lot of confusion around the community as to how this system is actually going to work. So it looks like, at least what we saw in E3, I can confidently say that this system seems to work really well. I tried running a sniper rifle with a shotgun, and of course I found myself running out of ammo pretty quick. I also was very addicted to the bow and arrow. That weapon is pretty awesome and feels very satisfying to use, so I'm probably always going to have some kind of bow and arrow, probably in my primary slot. But of course, that's going to be the fun of this fall, to be able to explore these weapon slots and to see what awesome loadouts are possible. But anyways, I hope that makes sense. I did want to give you my impressions of E3 and of the new Gambit mode, which are very positive by the way, but I'll save that for a different video. For now, let me know in the comments below if you have any other questions in relation to weapons and weapon types and weapon slotting. I'll try my best to answer them for you. Otherwise, drop a like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more Destiny content, and I will see you all next time.